Hello, this is Japanese Economic Review Channel. Welcome everyone. Today, we'll dive into the May 2026 preliminary report on the Japanese service sector. We won't just look at numbers. We'll explore the widening gap between revenue growth and employment, and what this structural shift means for our future strategies. Let's get started. Let's start with the executive summary. In May 2026, total monthly sales in the service sector reached 36.8 trillion yen, a solid 3.6% year-on-year increase. However, the total number of business employees was 30.13 million, showing only a marginal 0.6% growth. This contrast strongly suggests sector-wide productivity gains and an accelerating shift toward a resource-independent growth model amidst labor constraints. Looking at the 13-month trend, we see a clear revenue decoupling. While sales have maintained a high growth level, employment growth has completely flatlined, never surpassing 0.7% over the past year. This rigid labor market indicates we've reached a supply limit. The ongoing revenue growth is no longer driven by headcount expansion, but rather by increased unit prices and operational efficiency. This matrix categorizes sectors into three archetypes. In the top right, high-growth engines like information and communications are scaling both sales and talent. On the left, stable anchors like medical and real estate maintain stable foundations. However, the bottom right reveals a, quote, productivity squeeze in accommodations and food services, where revenues surge significantly despite shrinking headcounts. Let's zoom in on this productivity squeeze. Accommodations and food services achieved a massive 8.2% sales surge. Yet, their employment actually shrank by 0.2%. A deeper look shows takeout and delivery employment dropping by 1.4%. This highlights a critical paradox. Post-pandemic pricing power and forced efficiencies are driving top-line growth, masking an acute inability to secure physical labor. Contrast this with our true growth engines. The info and communications sector is successfully attracting talent, with sales up 4.5% and employment up 2.9%. Internet services are booming, fueled by robust digital transformation demands. Meanwhile, transport and postal shows strong 5.7% sales growth, notably driven by a 17.5% spike in water transport, proving they remain Japan's twin engines. Now let's address the contribution gap. While hospitality boasts the highest relative growth at 8.2%, its actual impact on the national total is just 0.57 points. The real heavyweights are transport and tech. Due to their massive baseline scale, transport contributes 0.91 points and Infocom 0.75 points to the overall 3.6% growth, injecting absolute monetary value into the national economy. We must also acknowledge the, quote, stable anchors underpinning the economy. The medical, healthcare, and welfare sector employs nearly 9 million people, about 30% of the service workforce, growing sales by 1.7%. Similarly, real estate handles over 5 trillion yen in sales. Their exceptionally low volatility and massive labor footprint provide the rigid stability necessary to keep the entire sector afloat. Beneath macro averages, extreme divergence exists. We see surges in water transport, plus 17.5%, and internet services, plus 8.0%. Conversely, contractions are squeezing specific niches. Video/audio production lost 3.2% of its workforce, and motor vehicle maintenance shed 2.3% of staff, despite a 4.7% sales increase. This reveals a rapid reallocation of labor toward digital services and shipping. To conclude, we face three strategic realities. First, revenue decoupling. Growth now relies on pricing power and automation. Second, the tech and logistics backbone remains our undisputed engine, expanding both scale and workforce. Finally, the hospitality paradox warns us that growth is capped by labor availability, not demand. Transitioning to resource-independent models is the ultimate mandate. Thank you for watching the Japanese Economic Review. We look forward to having you with us again.